You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History. Minor Family Dentistry would like to bring you the following dental health tip. It's recommended to have a dental checkup no later than your child's first birthday. An adult should brush for a young child and monitor older children's brushing to ensure a good job is done. Flossing should start when teeth are touching. Minor Family Dentistry wishes you good dental health. Families, including children of all ages, are welcome. Minor Family Dentistry, 1010 Downing and Hayes. Find them in the Next Tech directory.
So, you think you have skeletons in your closet? Come to Sternberg Museum, where we let our skeletons out of the closet.
Hello, and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton, and I'm the coordinator of the West Central Kansas Smart Start program. And with me today is Christine Weber. Hello, Christine.
Hello.
Now, first of all, Christine, tell us where you work and what do you do there?
I work for Early Childhood Connections at the Lincoln Elementary School, where I teach 3 to 5-year-olds. I work with the parents and the children to kind of work with them in the classroom to get them ready for kindergarten and get all their skills ready to go. So that way when they're ready, they have a good amount of skills versus, most kids that go, they don't have those skills, so we kind of get them prepared.
Now, I know it's spring, and everybody's thinking, especially if you have a preschooler, kindergarten is right around the corner. So what are some of the ways, or what are some of the important areas that parents can work on with their children to help prepare them for kindergarten?
There's a lot of areas that kindergarten teachers are looking for and that we're working with our kids. So there's lots of things that they can do. Fine motor is huge. Literacy, letter recognition, counting, number recognition, shapes and colors, and lots of things most parents are probably working on with their children anyway. But, trying to fine-tune those areas is very important when they get ready for school.
So tell me about some of those activities, some specific activities.
Well, when you look at fine motor skills, when they're in kindergarten, they do a lot of cutting, a lot of hand work, and so their hands can get very tired, and they're going to be learning about writing letters, writing numbers, and all those things. So it's important to get those skills in your hands stronger. So doing a lot of cutting activities, you can cut with Play-Doh, you can cut with different strengths of or thicknesses of paper. So construction paper, regular paper, different things like that, to sandpaper even, to get those skill or those hands stronger. Working just with Play-Doh, rolling out snakes, making balls, making structures, because that Play-Doh, depending on how fresh it is or anything like that, it can be harder to work with. So that's really working on those fine motor skills, those fingers, to get those a lot stronger for all those things that they're going to be needing to do when they get to school. Also, working on pencil grip and holding the pencil and the scissors correctly. I brought scissors, making sure you remind your families or your kids to keep their thumb up. A lot of kids want to go down. That's just a natural thing that a lot of kids do. When they're holding the paper, cut with that thumb up. I had a speech pathologist one time was working with some kids, and they always said, do like a quack. And for some reason, it sticks in their kids' heads, and they do it.
Does look like a quack.
Yeah, so they quack, 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 and it kind of helps them remember to keep their thumbs up. Why? It's just one of those things. When you're doing the pencil grip, also making sure they use their fingers. A lot of kids will do this or this, and usually by the time they're ready for kindergarten, they've figured it out, but making sure you remind them, holding that, like we call it a tripod grip, or the 3 fingers, so that way they have it in the right spot, and reminding them to keep it down. Because that's hard for even kids that are getting ready for kindergarten. They will hold in the middle or whatever. Holding it down is just a simple reminder. Hold it down a little closer and show them.
Now, I have a question. I know you can get like the crayons and even the pencils in the bigger size. Is it better to use those or just use the regular size pencils and crayons?
We use a lot of the regular size. If they're having a hard time, they have some of those crayons that have like a tripod or like the 3 sides. Those are kind of good because it helps them to figure out where to put their fingers. I use those a lot in the classroom too. Also, if you use a shorter pencil, that is a really neat trick. So if you have pencils this size, you can break them in half and sharpen the ends because it kind of forces them to be at the end. Or crayons even. If you have crayons and you have a whole lot of crayons.
Our crayons are always broke at our house.
And that's perfect because it kind of, if they're too short, then it's that kind of becomes an issue. But if they're not too, about even a couple inches or so, it just kind of forces their fingers at the end. Yeah, and it kind of makes them have to use their fingers because it's hard to hold on to a little crayon that is short with your grip, with your fist.
Now, we talked about fine motor and things like that, literacy, letter recognition, things like that.
That is a huge area. And, reading with your child is probably one of the best things that you can do. There's lots of things that you can do while you're reading. Predict what the story is going to be like. Talk about the title, the author, the illustrator. Go through, predict what maybe read the story without reading it. Just kind of read your own story and then go through and read it and say, well, was that the same or different than what we thought it was going to be like? Because you can tell a lot by the pictures. So that's a lot of things you can do with the literacy of books. Also, when you're reading or wanting the kids to maybe do some writing skills, have them write you a note. In our classroom, the kids will write us down a menu or give us, take down our order. And so, do that at home as well because they're seeing that writing is important. We're writing with a purpose, which is important. Also, when you're looking at letters and letter recognition, there's so many things you can do just with what you're doing. You don't have to do anything special, make anything pretty or anything like that. When you're at the store, look for the letter S. See how many things you can find with the letter S. Or you're looking for soap. Well, soap starts with an S, so let's find something that starts with an S and see if it's soap. Doing things like that. And you could even branch it off from further and go, we're looking for something that starts with the S sound. What starts with the S sound? What kind of things? And that way you're adding those extra things like the sounds to it, the letter sounds, which is important, which is what they're going to be doing in kindergarten. So you can branch them to do things like that too.
Math skills. How do you prepare for math?
Well, a lot of things you can do just in your own home as well. Counting is huge. You want to make sure when they're counting, count as they're, or kind of like, I should say, count and touch at the same time. So if you're making steps, count each step. It's called one-to-one correspondence. So that way
we'll put one arm in. Now we're putting your second arm in.
Yes, as you're getting dressed. Count how many forks you're putting on the table when you're setting the table, how many napkins you need. That's also grouping. So you're finding out that you need, 4 napkins or 5 napkins when you're setting the table. So they're putting a quantity to that as well, which will help them, to understand what 5 looks like, what 4 looks like. So doing that type of things, even when you're at the store, how many things can I find? I need 5
apples.
Yes, so let's count out the 5 apples while we're putting them in the bag. We need.
And then they're not quite as. Do I want to use whiny? Yes, at the store because they're helping.
They're helping you exactly. They're doing what you're doing, and same thing with at home. You're involving them, so you're going to have more cooperation, which is a good skill to have when you're going to kindergarten. You're going to have those helpful skills that you need as well for cooperation, sharing, all those kind of things because you're involving them with your daily routine. Even when you're washing the dishes, you can do stuff with that. Just talking to your child and talking about what you're doing is going to help them get ready for kindergarten.
Now, we've talked a lot on this show that children learn best through play. So what are some games or things that parents can do to reinforce some of these skills?
One thing that I absolutely love, because you can do it in the car, you can do it outside when you're playing, you can do it at home, whatever it is, you can just go and play I Spy. And you can reach it over across so many areas. You can play I Spy. I Spy with my eyes something that has 2 on it. And so they have to so you're using those problem-solving skills, and so it might have 2 numbers on it, so it might be a speed limit sign. Or it might have 2 apples on it, so it could be a tree, there's lots of things. I Spy something that starts with a S. So it could be a spider. It could be the sun. I Spy something that's T. Doing different things like that. So you're not just doing color, but color is very important as well. It's a skill that you need for sorting and different things like that. But you could do color, shape, letter recognition, things like that. All those things are going to be very important when you're getting ready for kindergarten.
Well, those are some wonderful hints for us. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you.
You've been watching You and Your Young Child. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
Thanks for watching You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You can watch the program weekdays in the noon and 9 o'clock hours. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History.